Snow White, Rachel Zegler and Snow White. Ooh, boy. Opening March 21st. The controversy, the craziness, the songs, the race swapping. Is she Snow Brown? She's Snow Latino? What's going on? Well, all that is going on. However, in this discussion, we are doing Anatomy of a Scene. Anatomy of a Scene. I love this series. This is where we take a scene from a movie you probably know, new, old, and we break it down from a cinematic and acting perspective. We give you details and insight that few probably have the knowledge too that they would have. However, usually in our series, and let's put up the link to the series right there. Here's the playlist. Ding. Usually, they're films that have been released, whether it was months ago, years ago, decades ago. They have been released. And we know the scene. You know the scene that we're breaking down here. We're breaking down a scene of a movie that has not been released yet. Snow White has not been released, and yet they have released a scene of the movie, a minute scene of a film that has not been released. Okay, so whenever that happens, okay, it means that they are very confident with the scene. This is we're putting our flag down. Bam. We're going to press you. We're confident. The content, the acting, the look, the feel. We're going to hook you with this scene. Tickets just went on sale, and this is the selling. This is it. That's usually how it works. You know, a couple weeks out, or maybe a month, it's like, wow, okay. That means that they are confident with their content, with the material, with the scenes, with the story that they have created and are waiting to release. So, that being said, we're going to break down the scene. I haven't seen it, where it's Snow White and the Evil Queen, Rachel Zegler, Gal Gadot. Let's give you some information on the director, Mark Webb. Okay, he's directed the two Andrew Garfield Spider-Mans. Some say the first one was really good. I liked it. He also directed 500 Days of Summer from 2009, which I am a big fan of. Have been. So this guy's got chops. He knows how to make a film, obviously. So you have that. Then you have the cinematographer, which is equally as important in this. And her name is Mandy Walker. And, she did a couple films like Hidden Figures and Mulan. And then, she was nominated for an Academy Award for Elvis. This woman has got chops. So when I see those credentials, I'm like, all right, I'm going to be blown away. These guys are the best of the best, and they are putting their foot forward. So we're all done. That's what's going on. I now want to play the scene, and then we're going to break it down. So this is from the first clip of the live action Snow White remake in theaters March 21st. Do we get the volume up? Got the volume up. Vamos.
Please. You were saying?
It's just, Your Majesty, people are struggling, and it may not be much, but when I was young, my parents and I we'd pick apples. We'd take them and make pies, then go out into the village.
Pies are luxuries. They don't need luxuries. It confuses them.
But sometimes something small, something sweet even, can make you believe that there's more to being alive than mere subsistence.
I really don't remember you being this opinionated.
My apologies. It's just, I feel they need some kindness.
Fearless, fair, brave, true. How quaint.
Okay, that's the scene. And I gotta tell you, A little. To be as positive as I can. It is a little underwhelming. So, there's some problems with this. I'm gonna stop and go. I will tell you the problems is not the look of the film. We're gonna get to it, but this scene here where she's walking in. So what you get here is is interesting because it is. Let me make this big for you guys. You get here distance, uh, separation, opulence between the queen and Snow White, but also it is it represents that in her kingdom. So the queen is obviously being lavished with you know the foods here. We're showing this walk on purpose, the director, and you have the guards there, yeah, and all the fine accoutrements that is becoming of a queen. So it's not warm. There's nothing warm about this, except maybe Snow White, who comes in with a smile. I believe she even smiles to the guards people. And then she's coming down with her head down, somewhat submissive, looking down. And here there's a cut. As she's sitting down, we cut to the queen, who says these lines. So there's the look here.
Please. Please. You were saying.
So obviously, this is in mid. I don't know if this is a mid scene, in mid sentence, but obviously this is not the beginning of the scene. This is the scene that they put out. But it's obvious that Snow White has said something to the queen from the distance. It's like, okay, I'll allow you to come in closer and talk to me, please. You were saying, um.
Please. You were saying.
Here's the problem with Gal that I'm not seeing is a heaviness, a seriousness, a weight to her queen. She is playing evil queen, whereas she's not embodying it. It's not embodied in her persona. So this could just speak to Gal's limited acting. It could just speak to the choices that she's making. It's not strong. There's different ways that you can convey power, and she's choosing some of the kind of like I want to say kind of shiny exteriors of that, whereas the timing and the confidence in the moment that you can take with the pause. Please, you were saying, that's what I mean. Where if the actor's not confident with that pause, with the silence, then we don't believe it. And I just don't believe her. That's the big problem here. Okay, so that's the beginning of the scene. Let's continue. And then they add, and this is done twice, at least twice, where they add this sound effect to her cracking nuts. And I gotta tell you, this is a cinematic device in the sound mix to, okay, we're gonna add to her evilness with the sound of these nuts cracking. But if the performance was already there, you wouldn't need to do all this extra added device, because this device is kind of covering up the fact that we're not buying this. This is not off to a good start, this scene. Let's back this up.
It's just, Your Majesty.
Okay, so Rachel here is so her character is a little taken with the nut cracking, which is a distraction. It's showing who's the boss, right? And so she's a little intimidated, so she's trying to muster the confidence to speak to her, but she's looking at the nuts being cracked. I like that choice. That is a good choice to do. It creates business, it creates conflict, it also creates a challenge for Snow White.
Just, Your Majesty, people are struggling.
And now she looks at her with the line, people are struggling. It's eye to eye. And what is the queen doing? She's eating. That's good business. It's good business. It's say, you know what? Keep talking, but I'm not really listening to you. I'm eating. I'm cracking nuts. I'm like, blah, blah, blah. That is actually good business. And when I say business, it's activity that they're giving the actors. A good actor can deliver a line while having business. So the business here is I'm going to say hello to you guys, and I'm going to drink coffee. Hello, guys. How are you? Doing good? That's great. Whereas an actor's not confident, this will get in the way of the performance. So sometimes a business can actually hurt or help an actor. And I think the business of eating, and then I know it sounds silly, but it actually is helping the performance in the moment. Whereas before, where she delivers the lines, there's no weight to it. I will say that what Rachel's doing here, she's on point. But let's go back.
See, people are struggling, and it may not be much, but when I was young, my parents and...
Okay, so it may not be much. So she's trying to convey a story, and she's saying, my parents, and you see the smile. And what do you see? You see the queen stop and say, what did you just say? Your parents? Did you accuse me of something? That's a good moment. That's a good moment. You got to give Gal that, right? That's a good moment. She's there with the pause. She's confident. Let's go back to that.
Struggling, and it may not be much, but when I was young, my parents and I would...
That's good. That's good. Right? But it's not, again, it's not, I think it's good because Rachel is actually giving her some good stuff.
Was young, my parents and I we'd pick apples.
And she she almost loses her train of thought because of the look that Gal gives her. That's all right. All right, I'm feeling that.
We'd pick apples. We'd take them and make pies, then go out into the village.
Pies are luxuries. They don't need.
Okay, so up until now, I really have no problems with what Zegler is doing with this scene. In fact, I actually think she's grounded. She's rooted in the reality of being I want to say being humbled, trying to convey a virtue that's handed down by her parents of giving, of thinking of others. I like that. I believe Rachel doing this in this moment. Everything that she's done in this scene right now, I believe, right? I like the smile. I like, and then I like how she was kind of thrown off, but then she's trying to, she's got a goal, and the goal is to get the queen to open up the apple orchards or whatever, so we can feed our people. That's her goal. And she's distracted, and she's kind of like intimidated a little bit, but she's kind of trying to kill the queen with some kindness in this scene. Now, can Gal deliver? Okay, let's go back.
And we'd pick apples. We'd take them and make pies, then go out into the village.
Pies are luxuries. They don't need luxuries. It confuses them.
But
Okay, I got to tell you, that's pretty bad. I think Gal is hung up in the sound of her voice. The sound of her voice is going to convey a certain weight and evilness. They don't need pies. That's a luxury. She's going for the exteriors where her interior is not confident. Her internal work as an actor. Okay, internally you do all this work with your character, and then you let it go because you've embodied the role. Here, it's the opposite. This is just my opinion, but it's the opposite. She's going for the exteriors. I got the look, I got the voice, and now I get to be evil. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. And yeah. So, and if you can see, and by that definition of what I just said, Rachel's doing that. Regardless of what you think of her as a person, in this scene, she is doing that. I believe her. I do, besides the queen's business where she doesn't talk, and then the look when she speaks, I'm not buying anything that Gal is saying. Okay, let's go back. And again, the scene looks beautiful. Okay, I like how she's lit. It's warmer, right? A little colder here. The edit, it's a little weird because Rachel's saying her line. Watch
We
this.
take them and make pies, then go out into the village.
Pies.
Okay, we hear the word pies, but we don't see Gal saying that.
Pies are
And it's a weird cut to when Gal says pies for the second time, whereas I would have cut right away to the reaction.
Make pies, then go out into the village.
pies. Pies are
That's a weird cut because right before we cut on a reaction.
And it may not be much, but when I was young, my parents and I would
Right there. That's why that was so powerful, is the editor cut right away to that reaction. Now, I don't know if the editor's not cutting to Gal's reaction because it's not there. Maybe it was weak. Maybe they didn't feel confident with it. That's what I'm thinking. That's why you got the weird edit. Watch this.
we'd
This
pick
cut.
apples. We'd take them and make pies, then go out into the village.
pies. Pies are luxuries.
Terrible. That's not good. And I'm nitpicking here, right? I'm nitpicking, but the problem comes out in the performance because I'm not buying this line where she's like pies, pie. Like maybe that line where she said pies, maybe she never gave them something they could cut to. Whereas before, that look they liked. I mean, listen, editing, performance is made and killed in editing. The editing is just doing the best it can with what was shot. Okay. I hope you guys are enjoying this anatomy of a scene where we break down scenes extensively. Let's continue.
They don't need luxuries. It confuses them.
But sometimes something small,
Okay, so this is now going downhill for me because now it's a bad line reading. Then you add the sound effect of the nuts cracking again. It loses power. Now it's just a lame device. It's a cheap cinematic device at this point because it's a bad line reading, but we're going to accentuate her evilness.
They don't need luxuries. It confuses them.
but sometimes something small, something sweet even can make you believe that there's more to being alive than mere subsistence.
I got to tell you, I got no problem with that line reading. I have no problem with this line reading, and I'm trying to be as fair as possible so far in this scene, guys. Rachel's bringing it. She's in it. She is grounded. She's trying to find ways. Like I said, the ultimate goal in the scene: feed the people. She's trying kindness. She's using stories. She's probably going to get to a point where she's going to beg a little bit. I'm liking it. It's Gal's performance here. It's pretty weak. It's pretty weak. This is just my opinion here, guys. I do want to know what
Even
you
can
think.
make you believe that there's more to being alive than mere subsistence.
You know, I really don't remember you being this opinionated.
Okay, so again, there's an editing problem here with Gal because they give her a pause, then they give her and then another pause that's supposed to, again, these pauses are supposed to equate a power, a purpose, but line pause, terrible, terrible. You're like, whereas why not cut right to when she says, let's watch this again. Let's watch this again. I'm not happy here, guys.
Life than mere subsistence.
1, 2.
You know, I really don't remember you being this
1, 2.
opinionated.
Okay, so you got 4 seconds here. Between I don't remember you being this.
Really don't remember you being this. No, I really don't remember.
Distance.
You know.
Okay, now let's just say, guys, Rachel delivers her line, and it cuts right away to the Queen saying this.
You know, I really don't remember you being this opinionated.
You see what I mean? That there is a performance. And you could easily have done that with the edit. The edit is off. So that is very strange because you can manipulate this performance to where I don't know why. There's no power in that pause before. Zegler says, assistance. I don't remember you being this opinionated. That is what I'm talking about. So we're seeing some technical problems. I think they're just trying to cover up for this performance, and they're not doing a good job in this scene of Gal.
My apologies. It's just I feel they need some kindness.
Tell me what's wrong with this line, Rena. I think. Okay, let's watch this again.
My apologies.
Sounds
it's just
good.
I feel they need some kindness.
And she's quivering a little bit. She's trying. I'm buying this performance here. Okay, I'm buying this performance. Oh, good reaction. Good reaction. So the Queen reaches for Snow White. Now, what's interesting is here I would have put some sort of sound effect. You did it with the nuts. Cut the nuts out. Cut the nuts out. And with that motion, that accentuates an unholiness, an evil, to where she recoils. The recoil's good. Rachel's doing it. But you need to help Gal out. You needed to have that moment there. That's what I would have done. Okay? Right. Now you have some music. So there's been no score in this entire scene, which to me says that they're confident with this acting scene. Now the Queen is... Now that pissed off the Queen, right? Look at her. And then she looks down at the locket.
Fearless, fair, brave, true.
Looks back at her.
How quaint.
How quaint. All right, guys. Anatomy of a scene here. I'm gonna give this scene a C. A B. I'm gonna give it a C plus. It looks good. Everyone looks great. The pace of it is decent. Rachel's moments are real. She's rooted in Snow White, in her humanity. That's good. She might be able to. That's got to save the film, because what I'm seeing in this scene from Gal is pretty weak. It's pretty weak. So that I'm a little surprised that they've released this scene, which says to me that if they think this is their strongest scene, there might be some problems with this movie. But that is anatomy of a scene, guys. We've broken it down. There's some edit problems, some choices that I would not have made if I was the director and editor. There's easy ways to manipulate a performance and make it better. And clearly, there was a couple of moments made Gal's performance better just by some editing and sound effects. Well, let me know what you guys think. I love doing this. Anatomy scene where we take a scene from a movie and we break it on down for you guys from a cinematic and acting perspective. My name is Paulie. This is a Latino Slant. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel and watch our videos. Woo. Keep your slant muy fuerte.